So the new Bleach trailer dropped a little over a week ago, and I gotta say, it was really good. It made me remember all the things I love about Bleach. So with the new confirmation date of the anime dropping in October, I thought it'd be a good idea to make a video about the 5 most important things to remember right before the new anime drops. So I've been really thinking about how to phrase this video and how to phrase the topics of my video, because Bleach isn't done, and it's important to remember that. At least that's the consensus anyway. They dropped a new manga last year about a sequel to the 1,000-Year-Old Blood arc, which we're getting the anime of. And that anime is going to go through chapters 420 something through 680 something. So there's going to be a lot of episodes in this anime. And again, there's probably going to be a sequel to that at some point. So I'm going to try something here, and I hope this makes sense. The topics I'm going to cover are the topics that I know are important, but I'm also going to go about this as if I don't know what happened, because I've already read the manga. And if that sounds confusing, don't worry, I couldn't find a proper way to say it, but after you see number 5, you'll see exactly what I mean, and you'll get it. So let's dive into it. These are the 5 important things that I think you should remember going into this new Bleach anime. And number 5 is all the Bankais. So let's remember, the Bleach anime ended 10 years ago. So if you don't read the manga, you might have forgotten who has a Bankai, or more importantly, who hasn't shown their Bankai yet. And knowing who has a Bankai or not in these fights to come will really make you think about the show, or at least that fight, a bit differently if you know they have something up their sleeve or not. And while theoretically you can say almost every character doesn't have a Bankai, well, yeah, but that's not really what this video is supposed to be. It's more about characters that we know probably have a Bankai or have the ability to have a Bankai and just haven't shown it yet. For instance, remember, Kenpachi doesn't have a Bankai, and honestly, it doesn't really have a Shikai either. Unohana hasn't shown her Bankai. That's another big one. It's actually the one, before I read the chapter, I was hoping I'd see the most. And I'm not going to tell you if I'm disappointed or not, but we don't know what her Bankai would be at the end of the anime. And let's not forget, 2 of the most experienced captains in there, you have Kyoraku and Ukitake. They haven't shown their Bankais either. They've shown their Shikais, and I actually really like them, especially Kyoraku's. Kyoraku's Shikai is so fun and innovative. I loved it. So he's also someone I was really expecting to see his Bankai. And then let's not forget Urahara. Urahara actually teased his Bankai in the very first season of Bleach. When he was training Chad asked if he can train against his Bankai, and Urahara said it's not a Bankai that's meant for training. And it's always got me curious ever since he said that sentence. And then finally, any of the Vizards. Any of the Vizards could have a Bankai up their sleeve that we haven't already seen yet. We know that some of them already have one, we know that Kensei already has one, but we don't know if everyone has one. Hell, before I read the Bleach manga, if Hiyori showed up with the Bankai, I wouldn't be surprised. Now, that's not all the people that have a potential for a Bankai, but those are the ones I thought were the most important. Like I said, you could say 95% of Shinigami don't have a Bankai, but that's crazy. And then number 4 is the state of Hecomundo and the Arrancars. Though we don't know too much about how Hecomundo was before Aizen took over it, we did see glimpses of it in the past flashbacks of the Espada. And probably the most important flashback was the second Espada, the king of Hecomundo. I'm not saying his name. And if we remember his fight in the Karakura Town arc, he is gone. So one of the things you may want to think about is what's happened to Hecomundo, and then also who is alive from the Arrancar and the Espada. I'm not going to say if all of them show up or not, but there are some noticeable people that just weren't finished off. And there's some other people that I 100% thought were finished off, but clearly weren't. But Nell and her gang are just 3 to name a few. And you also have Halibel. I was actually pretty sure she was not gone. And she was someone I was really expecting to see in the new arc. For number 3, this one's going to be a bit short, but it's simple. Remembering the backstory of the Kurosakis. Again, I'm not going to say all of the Kurosakis get the best development because I feel like Bleach forgets about Ichigo's sisters very often. But remembering the backstory of each of the Kurosakis, I think it's pretty important because they will elaborate on quite a bit of it. And it will explain a few questions that I didn't even realize I had about Bleach. But to be on the safe side, remembering what happened to Ichigo's mom, remember what happened to his sisters, remember what happened to Ichigo, and remember what happened to his dad, is probably a safe way to go into the story. And at the risk of saying more spoilers, I'm going to end number 3 there and jump right into number 2, which is the aftermath of Aizen in Karakura Town. Let's not forget, every event that happened in Bleach was because of Aizen. From Ichigo running into Renjin Byakuya in Karakura Town to Aizen turning into a butterfly. And let's not forget, all of this happened over 100 years before the main events of Bleach. It happened in the Turn Back the Pendulum event, which is actually my favorite moment in Bleach. I thought all of that was done perfectly. But remember everything that happened after the Aizen arc, which they show a lot of that in the last few episodes of the Fullbring arc. There's a lot of captain seats vacant. There's a lot of lieutenant seats vacant. Aizen is not dead. He's only sealed away. Genryusai still only has one arm. He refused to get healed by Inoue at the end of the series. And one of the most interesting things I always thought of at the end of that arc was how much more understanding the Gokei 13 has become. Without the Senate that Aizen murdered, they've become a lot more lenient. At the very end of the Fullbring arc, they let Ichigo kind of decide what he wanted to do with Ganju's body. If this was season 1 or 2, they would have killed Ichigo just for speaking out of turn. And also, my last point in that arc is, remember how Ichigo got his powers. At the very end of the Aizen arc, Ichigo lost his powers, but every captain and everyone that Ichigo kind of came across gave him his powers back. And that's why he looks different. I'm sure you guys might remember that part. It's probably one of the more memorable moments at the end of Bleach. But seeing the captain seats be filled, who's sitting where, who has what seat, that may be harder to remember. And the number one thing you should probably remember is what happened to the Quincy's. And I'm sure no one's forgotten it because Ishida will never shut up about it. So I'm sure that is one of those things. If there's anything on this list that everyone already remembered, it's pretty much what happened to them. They will give you more detail and backstory about what actually happened to them and why. And really, there you go. Those are, in my opinion, the 5 most important things to remember going into this 1,000-year blood arc. If there was anything more important that you think I forgot, be sure to leave a comment below and maybe put a spoiler warning if it's a spoiler. But thanks for tuning in, guys. I'll be back next week with another video, and if you like this video, please don't forget to comment, like, and subscribe. Later.